Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast. It's time for episode 4 of Just Take 3 with me, Andrew Musgrove, and
me, Sam Mulliner.
How are you doing? You well? You good?
Yeah, I was just looking at your shirt. Where did you buy that one from?
Jewels. Very nice outlet. Very nice. Half price sale.
Oh,
lovely.
I'll make sure never to go there.
What's wrong with this shirt? People listening will be thinking I'm
No,
wearing
it's
a wild
actually
and
all
wacky
right.
shirt.
It's just a very. I was going to slag off the green, but then I quickly realised that I am also wearing green.
You are. It's a very nice kind of forest green. You know, I like the dull colours, and that's what I've got. I mean, you are dressed like you're going to the gym, and I've just watched you wolf down a pack of Cheetos and half a bottle of Coke.
They were Frazzles. Wind your neck in.
Okay. I mean, to the younger listeners or anyone listening who wants a healthy diet, I recommend not following Sam's diet plan.
No, absolutely not. But the thing is, when you're at work and you've only got so long for lunch, and you just decide to spend that break talking to you on a podcast, time is of the essence.
So with that, it's my fault. Okay, you're sacrificing your health for this podcast. That is the commitment. I love that. It's very kind of you.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
We're recording this on the Thursday before the Premier League season kicks off. You will be listening to it on the Sunday morning. Hopefully, by the time you listen to it, Newcastle United would have picked up all 3 points against Southampton. Sam, I mean, it's a bit of an irrelevant question, but looking forward to the new season. Will Newcastle have picked up all 3 points by the time this goes out?
I certainly hope so. I'm at the game, so yeah, I very much hope so. Look, I am slightly a bit nervy about newly promoted teams so early on in the season, but we should be okay. I hope. So anyway,
sorry, have you managed to get 2 tickets consecutively for home games?
Oh, because I told you I'm at the Spurs game as well.
Yeah.
No, my mates are on holiday. So yeah, I've still never got a ticket through the ballot. I've just got very absent friends, which I absolutely love. Shout out Carl and Chris. You keep going on holiday, lads. Cheers.
Well, we did have one of your other pals on the podcast earlier this week. We had Johnny Greenwood.
So I believe. Yeah.
Right in the fans preview.
Was I not available?
Well, I've got to mix it up. This is your show, so I wanted to give Johnny, the better half of the Greenwood and Mulliner show, an opportunity to put his point across.
I know. And, who would have thought I would make it as a professional broadcaster before he did?
Yes, come on, share your good news.
Have I not already?
I don't think you've shared it on this platform. It was on Newcastle Fans TV, but it wasn't on this platform. So I will allow you to name the bookmaker as well that you're going to work for on their TV station. Go for it.
Okay, from September I am going full-time as a sports broadcaster. I will be working for Coral TV. I will still be doing these podcasts and still doing my bit for Newcastle Fans TV. But yes, the day job, the bread and butter, the actual monetary side of things, which I'm not remunerated for here, which is fine. But yeah, I'll be working for Coral TV for hopefully a very, very long time. So yeah, it doesn't quite seem real yet, but I've been doing bits and pieces for them for a while now. And yeah, that position has been made permanent, and I start in September.
Well, a round of applause to you, Sam. Thoroughly deserved. I'm sure all our listeners and viewers to this podcast wish you well in your new venture. Very, very exciting. Shall we get on with the episode?
Yes.
Right, let me just remind you guys. I mean, I'm sure you're well aware of how this works, but I'm going to do it anyway. Me and Sam have somehow crash landed on 2 separate desert islands with no means of communication back home. We'll be, scourging around for food and water, but we do have the ability to watch back some Newcastle United highlight reels. I'm not sure how, but we do have that ability to do so. And we pick 3 items each that we'd like to have on this little device, this little highlights reel. And today we've gone topical. We've gone very topical. We've gone for the first game of the season, the first game of the season, victories. And looking back, some memorable ones, Sam, but you don't seem too enthused at this one.
There are some memorable ones, yeah. Some for the right reasons, the positive reasons. Some for the complete polar opposite.
Well, we
Ones
don't
that
want
didn't.
those ones. We want the happy ones. We want the
Yeah, well,
ones that you
no, I
remember
know that's
for.
obviously what I've chosen, but like the ones that I think back to. I mean, the one I find quite funny now is the opening day of the 96-97 season, losing 2-0 at Everton. Gary Speed on the score sheet for Everton that day after we'd just forked out 15 and a bit million for Alan Shearer. That sent us tumbling back down to earth, and that was after the Charity Shield defeat as well. There was that one, the 1-0 at home to Arsenal. A couple of years ago, which was just a shambles and a half-assed protest and this, that, and the other, and the one that really narks me was that Steve Bruce won West Ham at home, where we were 2-1 up, weren't we? And yeah, just looked absolutely spent after 60 minutes. But there are plenty of positive ones as well, and I've managed to whittle it down to three. But I'll allow you to go first.
Okay, well, before I give you my first game, I just want to test your knowledge of our friendship. Do you remember the game Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle United? That first game of the season, what was it, 2 seasons ago now?
Yes, because it's made my list.
Oh, has it? I was
Yeah.
just going to. Okay, well, you can go first. I was going to ask you if you remember where I was for that game because you took a lot of joy out of taking the mick out of me for where I was for that game because I missed it.
You're at a flower show.
Oh my God, you remember? See, that's true friendship there, ladies and gents. Yes, I was at a flower show in Lincoln, and my goodness me, didn't you let me remind me of it for many, many months? You did.
Yeah, well, I was there because I've got my priorities right, and the reason why I chose it was obviously first full season under the new regime under Eddie Howe and everything. We obviously finished the previous season surviving relegation at an absolute canter, and there was this new sense of um, anticipation, belief, positivity around the atmosphere around the city that kind of whole day, and it was a glorious day as well. Was absolutely fantastic. The city was buzzing. Um, the game itself, actually, no, just before kickoff as well, we had war flags with New Dawn, New Day, and I'm feeling good. And yeah, the game itself, 2-0 win against Nottingham Forest, an absolute thunder bee from Fabian Schär to eventually break the deadlock because we were absolutely battering them, but just couldn't find a way through. And obviously, the longer that goes on, the more nervy you get. But yeah, what a goal from Fabian Schär, and then Callum Wilson making it 2-0 with a complete deserved victory. And yeah, we went on from there, didn't we? So that was top of my list, actually.
Top of your list. Interesting. I remember the Callum Wilson goal being quite a good goal as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, cross come in just outside of the foot, just a deft touch, just curling away from the goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, I think it was.
He's got an excellent record on opening day. I mean, we won't see him against Southampton, that's for sure. But he's got a really good record of scoring on the opening day of the season for Newcastle United. Such a shame that he's not fit. Do you, Sam, when you look at opening day games, is it like you must win, or do you look at it like the first? Because often you have managers saying, "Judge me after 10 games," and other managers obviously they want to win every game. But I'm just wondering how important is that opening game? Like, is it a must win? Does it set the
Histor-
tone for the season?
yeah, historically we can often get off to quite slow starts. Um, and that's where we kind of, I mean, some seasons we didn't even get going till like November, October, November time, and that can ruin your season kind of before you even know it. So it is so important to get off to a good start, and yeah, it's a nice time of year as well. But like so often we've kind of spoilt it by kind of dropping points against teams we should have been beating. You can get some very odd results on the first day of the season, much like the last day of the season. But it just goes to show how match fit and ready your squad is, because as we've seen in the past, it's not always been there. But I don't want to tempt fate because obviously we're recording this before the Southampton game, but so far under Howe, we've been ripe and ready for the opening game of the season.
Yeah, I think it's really important that you do win. It sets the tone, but it always doesn't always work like that. I mean, after the victory against Aston Villa last season, 5-1, Newcastle went on and lost the next 3 games. So it doesn't always work out that you perform and get the result on the opening day of the Premier League and then go on to pick up, the wins afterwards. My first choice, Sam, is that game against Aston Villa, that 5-1
Yeah, it's made my
victory.
list as well.
Just simply because everyone was so optimistic about the season. You had Champions League football coming in over the horizon. You had Sandro Tonali had been signed, Harvey Barnes had been signed, and you were thinking, wow, we're building a really, really good squad. And of course, no one could see coming down the line what happened to Sandro Tonali. No one could foresee the injuries, which totally derailed the season. But it was such a fantastic way to start the season. I remember going into that game a little bit worried, a little bit apprehensive, because I thought Newcastle had done all right in the transfer market, but Aston Villa building a really
Sold
good
sold some
side.
maximum as well. You can't leave
Yeah,
that out.
and I thought Aston Villa would beat. Well, actually, I think I did predict Aston Villa to pick up victory because
There was a
you'd
tinge of
fin.
disappointment, wasn't there? The fact that they got Diaby and we didn't.
Yes, there was that mainly from you. Unai Emery and Villa had finished the season really strongly as well. And I just expected it to be a lot closer. And I think the game actually, the scoreline wasn't a true reflection of the actual game. I remember Villa actually having a few chances, and if one of those had gone in, maybe it was a different story. But Newcastle United were just clinical on the day. I mean, Sandro Tonali, 6 minutes on the clock, running in very late to an Anthony Gordon cross and putting the ball home. It was a really good goal. And I remember coming into this studio with Aaron on the Monday and just thinking, wow, we've got such a player here. I can't wait to see what he does for the rest of the season.
Well, I did tell
And
you.
then he got banned, didn't he?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, fantastic induction by Tonali to the fans. Isak with a double, embarrassing Konza with a little slip up and then a delicate little chip over the keeper. You had Callum Wilson doing his usual on the opening day of the season, and then Harvey Barnes grabbing a really, really nice goal. Jacob Murphy with the assist, beautifully weighted pass, and Barnes running on and slipping it past the keeper. He also got the assist for Wilson's goal, and he just left St James's Park that day thinking, okay, wow, this is going to be some season. Didn't pan out like that, but what a tremendous way to start the season. And I think that game will live long in the memory of a lot of people simply because of the way they were so clinical in front of goal.
Yeah, so I will reverse proceedings now as I passed my friendship test and I was able to name where you were the prior season. I wasn't at the Villa game because of a reason. Where was I?
Ah, do you know what? I should know this. Were you at? Do you know? I'm not even going to embarrass myself by attempting to guess where you were. I'm going to say, were you on holiday somewhere?
Oh, I was.
You weren't in Portugal. No, were you in
No,
Portugal?
no.
Did,
That was
ah,
that
no,
was.
go
I
on.
went to Portugal like 2 months ago,
Okay, yeah.
and that was my first holiday abroad in 9 years.
Okay, so you must have been somewhere in this country. London? I don't know. Go on.
No, I was in Devon, but the key point being, I was on holiday with all of my in-laws, whom, bar the father-in-law, and one of my nephews, are all Aston Villa fans.
Yes. Well, this is why this game also means quite a lot to me because my father-in-law is a mad Aston Villa fan as well. So anytime Newcastle United beat Aston Villa, I'm like, I'm all for it. All for it.
Yeah, so I was there. There was how many of us was there? Oh my gosh, including kids, at least 10 of us, probably closer to 20. And yeah, me and my lad Charlie were there in our Newcastle kits, watching that game there. Obviously, it was a big game, and yeah, I was a bit apprehensive about it, because then we had the mother-in-law, my wife, the sister-in-law, the two brother-in-laws, and about 3 of my nephews and nieces, all in Villa regalia. So we were greatly outnumbered, but it was a good day. It was a
But you
very good day.
couldn't stop smiling, I bet.
It was a good day.
Excellent. Yeah. And, it's going to be really interesting to see what both Newcastle and Villa do this time around. I mean, a lot of pundits have forgotten about Newcastle in their season predictions, but have tipped Aston Villa to reclaim fourth spot, which I think will be a massive test. I know the Champions League's been reformatted and what have you, and Unai Emery is absolutely brilliant at juggling European competitions and domestic league competitions, but
Not
it's still a
Champions
very
League
tough
though, is
task.
he? He's great at juggling Europa League, but not necessarily Champions
Yeah,
League.
but I mean,
I don't think they will get fourth this season.
no,
I
I
do think
don't.
fourth is up for grabs again, but I don't think it'll be Villa's.
No, I don't think it'll be Villas, and I think okay, you put the quality aside because obviously the Champions League is much more difficult than the Europa League. I still think he knows how to balance the schedule, which is not something Eddie Howe necessarily knew how to do, and also they've got the squad to do it as well if they escape the injuries. So I think they'll be there or thereabouts. I think Newcastle will be as well. I've tipped them for fourth. It's going to be
Taking
interesting.
Newcastle out of the equation because we have obvious bias. Were I a betting man, lol, I would sooner take a price on West Ham for top four than Aston Villa this season.
Yeah, yeah. I've got West Ham finishing sixth, but there have been a few pundits on the BBC who've got them, or one had them finishing fourth. I think Lopetegui's a fantastic manager, and they've got a really good core group
They've
of players there.
they've bought very well.
They have indeed. Whereas Newcastle United were still waiting for that to happen, and fingers crossed. By next week after the Southampton game, they will have made some movement in the transfer window. But yeah, that Aston Villa game, it's up there with one of the best performances I think I've seen at St James's Park. We've had a lot of those, especially under Eddie Howe. Them games do last long in the memory, but that one was definitely up there, simply just because of how good everyone expected Villa to be. And it's funny, isn't it? Because there's always that meme that now goes around of Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, been proven right though, hasn't he?
Yes. Took a Aston Villa out and pressed him despite getting thumped 5-1, and then look what happened. So maybe Sir Alex knows a bit about football. But yeah, Newcastle United the only side to do the double over Villa last season, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, which is just hilarious. I missed the away game to Villa as well because I was working for Coral TV that night. But
the bookmakers are available.
No, they're not. So it was a great day, great match. Like you say, 5-1 did flatter us slightly. It was a closely fought contest, particularly in the first half. Matty Cash, I remember, had a great chance that he fired over the bar. But I think when Isak took advantage of Konza, who I do rate quite highly as Konza, to be fair, and made it 3-1, then it was like the floodgates opened, and it was that Eddie Howe's Newcastle at their most ruthless best that we've seen, just never stop going forward, looking for goals, and we saw that quite a lot actually last season. Considering it ultimately led to not failure, but no European football and whatnot through no real fault of our own. But yeah, it was still a joy to watch.
They had a fantastic flag display as well, 1892 in the East Stand with some fire cannons, and I think there was a blue star potentially on one of the ends, maybe. But anyway, war flags set the tone. I'm sure they would have set the tone yesterday for Southampton as well. I think Tyrone Mings got injured in that game as well, which also helped Newcastle United. Didn't he? Picked up that ACL.
I don't think it helped us. I don't think it made a blind bit of difference, to be honest. No, he's not for me.
Interesting. But yeah, Newcastle United 5, Aston Villa 1 was my first pick. Should I run with my second pick, or do you want to go?
No, you may as well, because that was my pick as well. So I've done 2 out of my 3. So
Look at this, great minds think alike. Well, I've got 2 to go. I'm gonna go with Newcastle United 5, Leeds United 2, August 1989. Now, I wasn't born,
Neither was
but
I.
I know all about this game. And I'm fortunate enough as well to be I spent yesterday's game against Southampton with Mickey Quinn, who scored 4 goals that day. It was his debut for Newcastle United, and he always tells a really, well, it's not a nice story, but it's a funny story
Hide your
where
plant pots.
Sorry?
Hide your plant pots when Mick Quinn's around. Do you not know the story?
Oh, about the hotel and how he had to relieve himself. Is that the...
Hide your
Yes.
plant pots.
Okay, and we'll let our listeners and viewers come to their own conclusion about that. But the story I'm going to tell about Mick Quinn is he was walking up Northumberland Street with his daughters on the morning of the game, just having a little look around, getting a feel for the city. And as he gets closer to the middle of Northumberland Street, he sees loads of people protesting, and he says, what's going on here? And as he gets closer, he can see people with placards, and it's a bunch of Newcastle United supporters protesting against the ownership. And one of the placards reads, "Who the effing is Mick Quinn?" So that tickled him somewhat. He goes on to the pitch, or he starts the game wearing the number 9 shirt. He's just signed, I think it was like 500,000, maybe a little bit more. He'd scored 18 goals for Portsmouth the season beforehand. People not very happy with the ownership had taken it out on Mick Quinn because he was the new signing that maybe people weren't happy with, they weren't impressed with, whatever. And he scores 4 goals on his debut. And he always jokes that, yeah, they were much more welcoming him after the full-time whistle than they were beforehand. I think he enjoyed each time he got to celebrate on that day because it shut a lot of people up.
Best way to do it as well, isn't it?
Mm.
Let your boots do the talking. Yeah, what a player. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to interview the man himself as well on my podcast, where he did tell the plant pot story in full. Yeah, just one of a long list of number 9 alumni, isn't he? He was, I dare say, underrated.
I think only because he came to the club at a time when things were really bad, but also that coincided with Kevin Keegan's return as manager for the first time, and him and Kevin, I think, style of play wise, maybe they didn't fit. And I think maybe because of the excitement of Kevin and the entertainers and the promotion and what followed, maybe Mick's goal scoring talents get a little bit forgotten about, which is absolutely scandalous because his goal scoring record is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He loves Newcastle United all these years later. He loves coming back, speaking to fans. He scored 57 goals in 110 appearances for Newcastle United. Like, that is a fantastic record.
Yeah,
Really,
it is.
really is.
More than one and two. What was it? What was the numbers again?
57 in 110.
Incredible. What just an out-and-out goal-scoring machine. Yeah, he'll always be fondly remembered, won't he, Mick Quinn? Really likable character, and one of these guys that isn't from the area. Obviously, he's a Scouser, but he got it. He gets it. He knows all about it. Yeah, he's great crack as well. So I trust you had a lot of fun with him yesterday. But yeah, I was nearly born on the game you're referring to, but not quite. So yeah, wasn't there that day.
No, me neither. But he's always a really good laugh to be around. Or nice, always got time for the fans. I mean, just listen to this though. He scored 34 league goals that season, 39 in all competitions. Next season, he scored 20 goals when Newcastle United finished 10th. And then Ozzy Ardiles came in to replace Jim Smith before obviously Keegan came in. He also had an injury as well, did Mickey Quinn, October 91, suffered a knee injury, so managed just 7 goals in 22 matches. But look, fantastic player. Like, just an absolutely fantastic goal scorer. And as you said, there's no better way to shut people up than scoring goals.
Exactly. There's no point getting in a war of words. You just get on the pitch, do your talking there, and then that's the way you prove yourself and get fans back on side. You put the ball in the net. It's simple, really, and he was very, very accomplished at doing so.
And in terms of number nines making an impression, it's probably him and Supermac. Supermac scored a hat-trick on his debut against Liverpool. Mick scores 4 here. There's no better way to say I've got this shirt and boy, can I handle it.
Yeah, too right. When again, you go back to Shearer's first Premier League game for us at Everton, we lose 2-0, and we all think, oh, hang on a minute, that wasn't in the script. I don't think he did too badly in the end. Did Big Al, but yeah, 4 on your debut. That's mightily impressive, and yeah, what a player, what a man.
No, certainly so. Go on then. Let me hear your next pick.
Well, my final pick. My final pick is from 2002, 2003, and it was a Monday night game, if memory serves correctly, and it was a 4-0 win over West Ham United. Lamana Lualua with a brace, and this was in between. It was betwixt a Champions League third round playoff to get into the Champions League proper against Bosnian team Zaleznikar. So we'd had to do the travelling. We won the first leg 1-0 over in Bosnia, and yeah, we go back to St James's for the opening game of the season and win 4-0 against West Ham, and again set us up for that amazing season under Sir Bobby Robson. I'm sure you owned the Flying High VHS as a youth, and it was it was that very season.
Was it a Monday night game because of the Champions League qualification, or was it
Not
a Monday
sure.
night game because that in itself, without knowing the context, an opening Premier League league season fixture game on a Monday night, that should not be allowed to happen.
Well, someone has to.
Was there one this year as well? Who was it?
I think so. Yeah, I think there is. Friday
Come
night,
on.
Monday night.
Oh,
These.
it better not. There better not be a Monday. It better not be a Friday night one.
Well, yeah,
Oh, there
the
is.
season, it's Man
Oh,
United Fulham on Friday night. You should have known that. It was now 2 days ago.
yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. I wonder who won that. Hopefully, Fulham won that. Yeah, and then tomorrow you have a Leicester versus Tottenham. Some things are sacred. Like, the opening day of the season should be the opening day of the season. Saturday, Sunday.
But what I will say that is as well, under the lights, St James's Park, all that hope, ambition, expectation. Yeah, it was good.
Again, this is getting broadcast after Southampton game, but at the time of recording, we're 2 days away from it. I'm just looking forward to a good old traditional 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday afternoon. I love it. There's just something about that, like the tradition of it.
Yeah, the Forest one that we were speaking about earlier, that was a 3 o'clock. Saturday 3 o'clock. The Villa one was a 5:30, I think, wasn't it? On the Saturday, was it?
No, I think it was. I think it was a 3 o'clock kickoff as well.
No,
I
it
could be
wasn't. It
wrong.
was televised.
Was it? All right. All right.
It was
Well,
a Sky game. It was either the Saturday night game or it was a Super Sunday game. I think it was.
it might have been a Sunday game. It was still light, so I mean, I suppose 5:30 it would be. Anyway, yes, I get your point. Anyway, what about this game then that you've picked? Your final pick. I mean,
Bit of
Luar.
apprehension because Bellamy was missing through injury as well, so bit down on options. Luana stepped up, got bagged a brace, and Solano was fantastic that night. Shearer got on the score sheet as always, and just set us up for that incredible season, which was so much fun. As a teenager, or was I going into my teens? Yeah, it was just such a memorable season, and that's where it all started, really.
I mean, Luar was a very interesting player, wasn't he? Signed from Colchester United after scoring 1561 games. Sadly, didn't quite find that goal scoring form at St James's Park, but still,
Came up with some big moments, though.
yeah,
I
dangerous player.
don't. I know he's not always looked back in fond terms because of the whole Portsmouth debacle. but I'm lucky enough. I've interviewed him as well live from the Congo, and he loves he loves the club, loves Sir Bobby. He actually shed a tear when he was on my podcast about it, when he was talking about Sir Bobby. He came up with some big moments, and obviously that iconic celebration, which I could do, I just don't want to. He was a lot of fun watching him, and he played his part in games that season. Away to Leverkusen, him and Scholler were up front in the Champions League, and still win 3-1 away in the Champions League. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, it was a good night, and set us up for one of the most memorable seasons in our Premier League history.
Yeah, finishing third. And I'm just reading here the report on the BBC for this game, August 2002. Newcastle singled their intent for the new Premier League season with an emphatic victory over West Ham. So Boy Robson said, after the goal came, it was not hallelujah, but it went our way. What a lovely quote.
It is. Well, he's full of them, wasn't he? Bless him.
Can't believe 15 years since he passed. Where's that time gone?
I know.
Great man.
What a man. What a man. What a legend. Not just a football legend, just an absolute legend of the human race. Just my absolute hero. My prized possession is a signed Sir Bobby Robson book. So, memories.
Yeah, a great character for Newcastle United, legend, and a great game for you to pick there. My final pick is Newcastle United's 3-0 victory over Coventry City in 1995. Les Ferdinand's debut, gets his goal, and it was kind of the game, maybe a little bit like the one you've just talked about there, which said, take note, Newcastle United are not messing around here. Obviously, it was the season in which they threw away a 12-point lead, something that will forever haunt Newcastle United fans of a certain age. But that day was just perfect in nearly every sense of the word. Sun beaming down on a newly redeveloped St James's Park a stadium. The final standing terraces had gone that summer. You had a team of very talented players who would come in that summer. Warren Barton, Les Ferdinand, and others. There'd been a lot of money spent. Shaka Hislop as well.
Some iconic photography that summer as well. With that kit and then players signing. Just what a time.
Yeah, I always remember on the highlights videos of Sir Les in one of the stands sitting on one of the seats, and I'm sure they put him on the L for Les, and then Keegan's in a nice red suit. That's what I always remember from I can't remember, it would have been one of the black and white videos, because did they not release a black and white video every month? Definitely did a magazine.
Yeah, it was. I think they split it into. I don't think it was every month the video, but it was. Was it like 2 or 3 parts to it? I did have quite a few of them on VHS. And for the younger viewers and listeners, VHS is like a download, but you can hold it in your hands. You inserted it into what we called a VHS player, which is about the size of your average tablet nowadays. And from there I don't know. I'm struggling to think. I'm talking to the Snapchat generation here, Andrew.
The video tape might be, but the actual VHS was a lot
the VHS
bigger.
Player was a lot bigger, but
anyway,
things are smaller nowadays.
Let's talk about the game, okay? Because it was kind of everything coming together, all that investment on and off the pitch, and it came together on that day. Wasn't as easy as a score I might suggest. Shaka Hislop was tested a few times by a Coventry City side who, were definitely up for the game. Rob Lee, though, broke the deadlock with a really, really good header. I think it was Keith Gillespie that put it in the box, and it's a header he's got no right to put in the back of the net. Like, he's unmarked, but it's a dangerous. I mean, not, it's a difficult header because he's already jumping as the ball kind of comes in, and it's somehow he's got it up and down. And I'm not really sure how. You watch it back and you think that's a tremendous bit of technique. Peter Beardsley then grabs the second before Sir Les in what has to be one of my favourite goals. I mean, there's nothing particularly difficult about it, but it's a ball into the Coventry half, and Les Ferdinand is onto it in the flash of an eye, in the blink of an eye, in the flash of whatever, sprinting through. You watch it, and the speed that Les has is unbelievable. The keeper has come 30, 40 yards off his line stupidly. Les nicks the ball right in front of him. He's off down the right-hand side towards the corner between the Milburn and the Gallagher, and he just hits it from, 25 yards maybe, into the corner. Wonderful. Off he goes into the corner to celebrate his first goal for Newcastle United, and worth every penny of that £6 million they paid for him. 29 goals that season he got.
We talk about underrated. I don't think Les Ferdinand is given the credit he deserves, like historically.
I don't know about that. No, I think he's loved, isn't he?
No, I mean, I meant from the wider footballing fraternity,
Yeah.
not the Newcastle fans, because obviously we know better. But I mean, from the kind of wider footballing fraternity, they're more focused on Rooney, Henry, Shearer, and you know, when you go below that, you know, Andy Cole will get mentioned, and Robbie Fowler perhaps, but Les I think is a bit overlooked by the wider footballing community. I think he was just a complete striker. He was awesome.
Yeah, can't argue with that. And that goal for me just it just opened up my heart for him, because I was just like, oh wow, like sheer power, pace, precision, and then that beautiful gleaming smile as he's running off to the stand to celebrate.
Yeah,
And you just thought, okay, Newcastle United have got something here. Like I say, it was just a coming together of absolutely everything. I mean, the signings they made that summer, as we mentioned, Warren Barton, Ferdinand, Keith Gillespie. I know he'd come maybe a little bit earlier with the Andy Cole deal, but you just felt everything was going to come together, and it did. It did until February, where the wheels fell off. But
yeah. I mean, you add in the mix David Ginola.
of course,
You know, here's to the journey. That away advert, by the way. Oh, yes, please. Yeah, wow. But yeah, that again, it was like that West Ham game I chose. It was one of them that sets you up for a memorable season in obviously in ultimately a bad way because of how it finished, but it was still at the time it was just a great time, wasn't it? It really was. And yeah, Rob Lee, just what a player. Les Ferdinand, complete striker. You mentioned power and pace there, but like his aerial ability as well, just incredible. So yeah, special time, special team, and yeah, special season.
yeah, indeed, and it was the perfect introduction to Les Ferdinand, who, got to remember, came in as the replacement to Andy Cole. So that wasn't
Massive
an easy,
pressure.
wasn't easy at all, because we all know about the Keegan on the steps having to explain himself about the sale of Andy Cole. So for that man to come in, there was an expectation, and goodness me, didn't he meet it? It's absolutely fantastic. So hopefully, by the time you guys listen to this, maybe William Asula has come off the bench with half an hour to go for whatever reason and scored on his debut and introduced himself to the St James's Park crowd with a goal or two. We'd take that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath, but yeah, hopefully we do enough to get the 3 points. I've seen a lot of predictions expecting a wide margin victory. I don't think it'll be that easy, but look, newly promoted side. I'm not a fan of playing them so early on in the season, but look, there was plenty of positive signs there on the Cellar weekender to suggest that we're ready to go again, and fingers crossed, it sets us up for a very fruitful season.
Yep, hopefully so. Well, Sam, thank you for joining us for the latest episode of Just Take 3. This week we focused on opening day victories for Newcastle United. Hopefully, as we've said, Newcastle United have beaten Southampton and you are enjoying your Sunday celebrating that victory and listening to us. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Give us a rating and review on our podcast channel. Thank you very much as always for joining us. And for myself and Sam, we'll see you guys next